after the chapter One Piece 132 got released mad early yesterday, I decided to take this time to do a slight discussion, mainly because I'm going to cover on the Vinsmoke, but I will mention certain things. First off, I mentioned briefly in my reviews about where we stand with Luffy, where I believe a separation of the crew is going to happen, because the way again Nami was talking to Kara about don't get separated, and Luffy's already on his own. But I'm going to start with that. I may have jumped the gun when I said put him with the one behind him, because I actually forgot about the mirror ability of Madame Brulee. I'm not so sure what her abilities were, whether she like produced mirror clones or whether or not it's some type of witchcraft. But as obviously as reflection covered his mouth. Now that doesn't mean Puddin's not behind luring him there. I actually believe there's a strong possibility, and I'll mention about Puddin as well, because I think it's important. We get to find out the structure of the Charlotte family, or some information, because Madame Brulee, the 8th daughter of the Charlotte family. Now the way it looks like to me, and I heard a couple of people say this, and number one, obviously the closer you are to the first or second born, not only the older you are, but perhaps the stronger you are as well. But which may also indicate why we haven't seen other Charlotte family member daughters or sons. We probably will get introduced to some of them, because we still have that with 45 sons, and you have 39 daughters as well. Well, we got introduced to two. I'm pretty sure Bonnie's one of them, and Lola. So I'm pretty interested to see where they roll in when it comes to the rankings as well. And let's not forget also, even if Bonnie is a daughter of Big Mom, you have to remember she has the age proof, so we really don't know what her real age is, even though we've seen it turn her age into a kid and into a hot babe. But anyway, that's besides the point. The main topic of this discussion is where we head next for the Straw Hats. And well, obviously I'm beginning to think Nami's going to have a one-on-one fight, which is cool. Will it be with Madame Brulee, perhaps Puddin? Who knows? So I'm just going to start off with Luffy, because right now he's the only one that can actually help the Straw Hats. But obviously he's much like Zoro could get lost in a drop of a hat, and because of the way the woods is set up, it could lead him astray. We know that now. This is where a plot device could fall in, because we see the giant with the spear from Randolph, and that's the last time we saw him as well. So he might bump into Luffy as well. If he doesn't, and Luffy finds the giant, the guy likes to bury himself alive. We know how Luffy is when he sees people like that. He gets pretty excited, so he might be the one to pull the spear out, and because of that, the giant might tell him which way his friend went, and that could be the plot twist of where Luffy steps into the next chapter. Hopefully, I'm hoping Nami gets the chance to shine, because we really haven't seen Nami in a one-on-one fight in a long time. She's had a moment, she's had fights, but not a one-on-one fight, especially with a emotionally invested arc like this. I think the last time she had any kind of fight one-on-one was against Khalifa in Ina's lobby, and ironically enough, she was emotionally invested in that arc too, because she was crying her eyes out when Robin left to sacrifice herself for CP. So to welcome CP's 9-month attack, the Straw Hats. We know how that went down. Same applies here, and again, I've said this repeatedly. Nami ever since the crew, before the separation, Nami at the entire Straw Hats has shown more emotion. Not to say the other Straw Hats don't have emotion or mixed feelings about it, but Oda's planted that way, that she has shown more emotion to Sanji than she ever has out of the entire series, plus out the entire crew so far. So, I'm given the fact she's already got a new climb attack weapon from Usopp, yeah, definitely going to have a one-on-one fight. I'm not too sure if it's going to be against Madame Brulee, maybe one of the Vinsmokes. I doubt it, but it's a possibility. Now, speaking of Vinsmokes, this is going to be the main topic of the discussion there, because I did mention a few things briefly in previous discussions, but not we haven't had this much information when it comes to the Vinsmokes. In fact, we actually get some clarification of not only the reveal of Sanji's dad, which was pretty cool, but also his logic and his motives of what his motives are. And basically, he wants control over the northern part of the sea, the North Blue, um, and we know Sanji has nothing to do with that. But and they're going to square off next week. However, um, I'm not too sure if that fight's going to be concluded, because that just feels like the end of an arc fight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be like a thing where Sanji gets the crap beaten out of him, or before they fight, because you know Ichichi and Niji, the other two older brothers of Sanji, will show up, because they've been. And this is something else, and this is why I'm said, and I said it a couple of times, that the Vinsmokes are going to be the wild card in this arc. Obviously, because of the way that where they just come in, and more importantly, why do they want Sanji to marry somebody, a daughter of Big Mom? Obviously, they want to protection of a Yonko. That helps and control the part of the North Blue. But I mean, what's really in it for him? Because there's a possibility that the Vinsmokes have actually hypnotized Big Mom in some way or shape or form. I kind of agree with this, just because if you go back and when we introduced to the two older brothers, Ichichi and Niji, when they was on Broccoli Island, they were there for 2 whole years, causing war, and actually took care of the war. And you'd think Big Mom not only would know about that, but do something about that. So that's kind of weird. But I mean, we've seen this before. Like Kid, he was fucking up Big Mom's ships. She didn't do anything, but that was outside Big Mom's island. This is in her territory, sort of. So you'd think not only would people report this, but she'd actually do something about it. So there's definitely something there. Again, we get more information than we've ever had about the Vinsmokes. We still have a couple of things we don't know, but the main things we know: they're a mythical army, they're a strong bunch of assassins, and they're higher up in the New World, and they've got some, at least Sanji's dad has some sort of pull with the government, at least some connections, because again, this is one thing I want to know, and maybe when we get the flashback we'll know why Sanji's dad, Jaji, has the ability to change bounty posters, because that is some type of pull or connection that the Papa Vinsmoke must have. Either that or some influence, like kind of like a Doflamingo type of deal, where he has the Tenerife blackmailed. It could be similar to that, or it could be something similar where maybe if Big Mom has been hypnotized, perhaps it's something like that where she had the influence, maybe the input to change the bounty poster as well. But because if she's been hypnotized, that would explain things as well. I'm not saying that's a guarantee, it's just theory, and it's possible. I'm going to focus this mostly on the Vinsmokes. So, the most important things we got out of this chapter. Number one, they train pretty much all the time. They're a kingdom without no land, and I believe it's rare that all the ships that align with the Vinsmokes come together. So, I mean, it's going to be one hell of a party for the Vinsmokes. Maybe they'll be the guys to like tear shit up when. I don't know. Again, it sounds like to me there's something other than just wanting to see Sanji again, because the way that Sanji's dad was talking to Sanji was like, "Oh, you were a real pain in the ass." So I don't know. Maybe a lot of people say, and it is possible, something to do with Sanji's mom, who we haven't seen yet, but we're either going to get an introduction next, or I think in a flashback when and where we get it. But again, it's a discussion, so this is just my thoughts. And how do you see this fight turning out between Sanji and Jaji? Because again, Sanji doesn't punch, although he's used his hands. Remember that camp when he was on the sea train, he was using the kitchen knife. That could work, but I doubt it. But I mean, because he's fighting his dad, maybe you think he's going to use his fist for the first time or not. But I don't think that fight's going to be concluded again. because it just feels like an ended of an arc fight. So because we've waited all this time to see Sanji's dad, and Sanji has to take care of business. I don't know. It could be a case where it's interrupted. Like I said, Ichichi and Niji could show up, and they really have it in for Sanji for whatever reason. Reiji, again, I may be reading too much of this, but Reiji out the entire Vinsmoke seemed more in tune with Sanji. Like, she's not too bad, but she's questioning Sanji's motives. Why you left the family to go off and travel with a small pirate crew? What was it? You had fame, you had power, you had women, you had everything. So maybe, and I'm not saying she's going to be a Nakama crew member joining, no, but she could be an ally down the road. Because I think out of the entire Vinsmoke, she could be like, she's the less let me put this right, the less hostile of the entire Vinsmokes. And we also know that Sanji got the better of Yanji off screen, so that was kind of interesting as well. The whole rankings, and I said this during the review, it looks like the two older brothers, Ichichi and Niji. Above them would be the dad. Maybe after that comes Sanji, and then Reiju. Well, we don't know, because Reiju actually kicked Yanji when we got introduced to him first. So I think that's the way it goes. It could be the same way it rolls for the Charlotte family as well. The older you are, perhaps the stronger you are as well. And what do you think is going to happen next? Do you think Nami's going to have a one-on-one fight? I hope so. It's been a long time coming as well. And again, I think Nami's going to be a big part of the arc. I'm not just saying she's going to have like the most chance to shine. I'm saying that she's going to have a bigger role than what we think. So let me know what you guys think down below. That's going to do it for this discussion. Like it if you do appreciate that. Comment, rate, subscribe. Catch you guys later.